Alright, hi guys, it's your boy CryptoGigs. As usual, today we are going to look at so many things. Today what we are going to look at, there are two points I want you guys to focus on. How to protect yourself from hackers within your wallet, and how you can keep safe of your funds within your personal wallet. Okay, so one thing, what we are looking at here, we are looking at a screen that is having $0.34 in the balance. We are looking at a wallet that is having $0.34 in the balance, but this wallet once had $2,000 and plus, okay, in crypto. So how did it come to this end? How did it come to this point of having less than $1 in the balance? Walk with me, I'll take you through. First of all, I'm an OKX user, and safety is my priority. I don't just share my keys, and I don't just connect each and everything. But one question is, how did the hacker know that I'm having money in my wallet? And how did they get into my wallet? That is the question, and I'm going to give you the answer in this video. So one thing that you gotta do is to subscribe, like, and share. After subscribing, please put that notification bell so that you'll be the one to be notified when a new video drops. Okay, so I'll start like this. In 2025, we had a growing InfoFi platform, you know. So when you had that InfoFi, what is InfoFi? InfoFi was to talk about projects in crypto, or talking about new projects in crypto. So there was a platform that was called Kaito. Kaito was a platform that offered new and those upcoming projects a platform where a group of crypto lovers or crypto creators, when I talk about crypto creators, I mean CT or crypto Twitter, where could gather and pick a project and they start to talk about that project, they tweet about that project. So the more that project could trend on Twitter, the more that project could perform well when they go live. So we could talk about a certain project for 3 months, 6 months. So those tokens could qualify you for a huge airdrop or a huge reward in the name of thank you for talking about us. Thank you for supporting about us. Those tokens could attract investors, VC investors and stuff, you know, and on the date of going live, launching, that could push a token way far. Okay, but there was advantage for that and there was disadvantage for that, but that is not the case. It's not what we are talking, it's not what we are talking about, and it's not the reason why we are here. So the reason as to why we are here, I lost $1,400 plus in a single wallet, in a single transaction, in just 1 hour. But how did they come to know that I have money in my wallet? Walk with me. As I told you, there was a certain project that I talked about in those early days. I mean, in those later days of 2025. It was October. I started to talk about that project in the early days of 2025, and I was airdropped in October 2025. Okay, so this was the token. The token was called Open. The project was called OpenDidia, and they had a token that was called Open. Okay, so Open today is worth Open token. Open today Open is worth $0.2318, and as I told you, I was rewarded $7,223. You understand? But today's current price, 7,231.64. That was my reward. As of today, it is worth $1,60,000 or $1,677. So how did they come to steal my money? The short answer is I don't know. Okay, but we can see here, right here on my wallet, we can see a transaction that was made. You can see a swap in my wallet, a swap of 7,231.64 to 0.375752 Ethereum, and that wasn't me. That wasn't me. Why? I'll show you. As we can see here, let's go to Etherscan and let's scan all the transactions that were made. You see, this is my wallet right here. Okay, here is my wallet. I'll copy that and have a clear transaction list where you can track it and everything. Okay. Firstly, as I told you that I was airdropped tokens. At first, I was airdropped, and then after being airdropped, those tokens were in form of NFTs, and that NFT was a single NFT, and those tokens were kept on that NFT. That NFT was vested or locked for 3 months. Remember, they airdropped those tokens in October 2025, on 30th of October 2025. So they locked that NFT for 3 months in order to qualify for this amount of 7,023.31 open tokens. Okay, as you can see on my transaction list here, this is the date. This is the date, October 10th October 2025 at 21 hours and 33 minutes. That is when they airdropped that token, that NFT token, and it was capped to 7,231 open tokens. So after 3 months, you can see on 9th of January, at the same time, like 21 hours, 38 minutes, those tokens were unlocked, and you can see the ban tag, so that the NFT was banned and I received the tokens. You get. So after 1 hour, you can see at the time 21 hours and 21 hours and 38 minutes. Then at the same time, after 1 hour on the same day, on 9th of January 2026, 22 hours and 30 minutes, my tokens were called out. It was called out via an OKX lab aggregator. So this was a contract interaction. So they were called out, and this was via a swap. Okay, and that was Uniswap volume 3. You can see right here, swap of 7,231.64 tokens worth $1,681 as for now, for this amount of Ethereum. Okay, and right now it is worth, this amount of Ethereum right now as per current price is worth 874. So that means there is a correction in prices, but remember, this is not current. These transactions are for 3 months back, and now they are showing prices of today, of now for the current price. Okay, so you can see what they did those swaps through OKX exchange. You can see the roots here. You can see OKX lab aggregator from Uniswap, then OKX aggregator. You can see all those routes and those calls from OKX. So that means the guy didn't even move the tokens out, but he just did a transaction within my wallet. It's like you found someone stealing you, and they sold what they have stolen from you within your house without moving outside. Bro. Can we call that an aula? Can we call it aula or what? But that is the humiliation of the highest order, I'm telling you. So as you have seen those transactions, just within 1 hour, the guy came in and took my money. After some days, I came back and I found no money in my wallet, and I looked around just to find these transactions they were made within my wallet. But remember, I had shared with no one. I shared my keys, Opus keys, with no one, and I share my device with no one, and I had shared my device with no one. My things, these crypto things, are secret. I do them in secret. But if I'm to tell you, if you ask me, how did they get to know your passkeys and how did they get into your wallet, the short answer is, if you want to keep your wallet safe, away from hackers and away from exploits, it's better when you connect your wallet to any random site that you don't trust, even if you trust it, make sure, because some of cryptos, some of crypto wallets right now these days, they have this option of revoke option. You can see this revoke option. I'm using OKX, so that's why I'm showing you this, and this is an OKX extension. Okay, so I'm making it easy for you. That's why I'm maximizing and minimizing this screen so that you can be able to focus and to look clearly here, to watch clearly here. Okay, so the only way they could get into my wallet is that you can see the risk approval, one risk approval, and when we check that risk approval, it was via again open project. So that means where I interacted with this project, there is somehow, somewhere, there we are a vulnerable way where they could get access to my wallet. Or else, I had other wallets. I mean, I had other sites, other projects that I interacted with. Remember, when you interact with any random project or site, it's very easy for them to get into your wallet. Why? Because when you interact, you enter your password. When you enter your password, you approve. When you approve, you give access to anyone with that contract to access your wallet. They can access it somehow. They can access it. So that raises risk and vulnerability to your wallet. So what you do after interacting any random or any other project or any other site or any other whatever you connect your wallet to, make sure you come to approvals and do revoke those approvals. Don't let it stay connected. You understand? Just revoke. You just enter your wallet and check for this option and revoke all the approvals you have ever approved. Okay, just like how I did here. When you look into history, this is the USDC approval, OKX Web 3, and this was Giza approval. I revoked that. I revoked the ISNT approval. This was a token that I purchased somewhere on OKX Web 3, and this was Valvet. I approved. Then later I revoked. You can see revoke USDC approval, revoke Giza approval, revoke ICNT approval, revoke Valvet approval, revoke USDC approval on delay. And revoke USDC approval on Rango Exchange. You understand? So when you revoke those and you keep your passkeys, safe, no one will get into your wallet, and no one will get to know the passkeys of your wallet, and no one will understand your wallet. You understand? Just to keep safe. But somehow, if you find this video very useful and helpful, please kindly put a follow, click the bell button so that you get a notification about a new video. And finally, thanks for watching. Like and share. Also, don't forget to subscribe. It's your boy KryptoGeeks. I sign out.